Unpopular Opinions, episode 24. Instead of dipping and pouring over, sauces and dressing should be sipped. What the fuck? If you take sips out of your condiments, you can get the perfect amount needed for each bite. Smaller bite, just a smaller sip. Don't like the sauce, you can leave it and it's no longer all over the food. Alright, I'm gonna just stop it right here. What the hell? Why would you need to take a sip of it? That's just dip it. That's the whole point. This person's saying that if you don't like a sauce on like your chicken nuggets, instead of it being based in that sauce, you know, take a sip. No, just have like a dip on the side. Just dip it. That's the easiest way. Why can't you take a sip? It's all fun and games, so you take a sip of mayo. Like, what the fuck? The only thing that you should be taking a sip of is this dick. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't even know where I was going with that joke. All right. Yeah, this is just a really bad opinion, honestly. Like, why would you take a sip of that shit? Hell no. I'm not taking a sip of spicy ketchup from Whataburger. Hell no. Next is, don't talk to me until I've had my coffee types are insufferable. Congratulations on making your caffeine addiction your personality. I hate to break it, but if you think drinking your hot bean juice as soon as you get out of bed will stop you from being a pain in the ass to coexist with, then odds are you were already miserable to begin with. Drink some water, go on a walk, do something other than chugging a Colombian laxative and making it others people's problems when you can't get your grubby mitts on it immediately. Tea's better anyway. Okay, I think this person's taking it a little bit too literal. I think most of the time when people say that, they just mean like, hey, don't talk to me, you know, let me get settled in first before we start talking about work. I feel like that's mostly when it's used for. I don't really work an office job or remotely, like any job that kind of really have you come in that early. But I feel like that's probably what they mean by that. Like, don't talk to me until I have a coffee. If they mean it literally, then yeah, sure, whatever, fuck them. But I think most of the time they just mean it as like, you know, don't talk to me about work related shit like right when I clock in. Like, let me clock in, let me get to my desk, let me settle down for a minute, you know, get everything ready and all that stuff, and then we can start the day. I think that's what they mean by like, you know, don't talk to me until I have my coffee, because I don't think people like to get, I guess, bombarded as soon as they, I know everyone hates this shit. Right when you enter the door, immediately get handed with work. I think that kind of sucks. I think everyone hates that stuff. Like right when you clock in, they give you something to do. It's like, god damn, yeah, that sucks. So I think that's what they mean by that. But if it is someone that I guess means it literally, which I highly doubt, but maybe people are like that. If they do mean it literally, like don't talk to me until I have like a sip of coffee, chill out, bro. Yeah, I guess yeah, sure, chill out, but it's whatever. So I will disagree. And the last one is, gatekeeping your hobby, especially if it's niche, is 100% justifiable. I can't tell you how many hobbies I've fallen out of love with because they've gone mainstream and changed for the worse. Magic the Gathering is my most recent hobby I've dropped because of this. 50% of sets released this year or releasing aren't in-universe sets. They're just sets based on their IP. They basically turned the game into Fortnite. Then the in-universe sets are now full of pop culture and more modern day technologies like cars, chainsaws, and freaking revolvers. Similar things are happening in anime, video games, and movie franchises, which lures in new crowds that doesn't appreciate the old stuff that made those things great to begin with, and will probably only be fans and consumers for a short time because they're bringing in the wrong crowd. Okay, I think this person's just complaining about Magic the Gathering being mainstream, or just like, I guess, other stuff being mainstream and popular, which I can see being frustrating. I wouldn't say I guess gatekeeping. This is how I see it. I like to collect Pokemon cards. I think it's super fun. The thing that makes it rough is that everyone, all these scalpers, I think that's the main issue, scalpers. Same with Magic the Gathering, same with like Yu-Gi-Oh, same with any other card like the Skibidi packs too, right? There's gonna be scalpers and they like to buy all that shit and then sell it at an extremely high price. I think that's what sucks. I think that's what needs gatekeeping. Just making sure that the people who are actually wanting to, I guess, pursue that hobby can pursue it without having these fuckhead scalpers or just someone gatekeeping them from their hobby. I think that's what we need, right? So like, I guess like a proper gatekeep in a way that would be justifiable would be how Walmart and Target are doing sometimes with the booster boxes, or just selling Pokemon cards in general. They make it like 2 per person. I think that's what we need. I like that kind of gatekeeping because, dude, I like to collect it for fun. I like to get Pokemon cards for fun. Every single time I go to Target or Costco or Walmart, I can't. It's empty. It's empty, man. And I'm just trying to do it for fun. But people are selling them on anime for like such a high price. It's like, god damn. That's what sucks. So if it's gatekeeping them that way, for sure, I can see that being justifiable. Just so that way it helps out the smaller people who are just trying to do it for fun, not the ones who are trying to make a profit. I think that's what makes hobbies really bad. Sometimes that when it's people just trying to turn that shit into a profit, as in like they don't allow other people to enjoy that hobby. That's what I mean. But honestly, I just feel like this person was really just bitching about like Magic the Gathering being mainstream, or just also like being hype now, being like in the hype thing. Because back then no one cared about it, but now it's really popping off. It's pretty trendy. I think this person is just kind of bitching about that, which whatever. I guess if we're talking about actually gatekeeping a hobby, like so that way you can benefit from it and leaving all the trash people out, yeah, for sure, I'm all for it. But if you're someone who gatekeeps it in a way that you don't let others enjoy that hobby, then yeah, that's messed up. So honestly, I kind of agree, but also if it's in that way, if you gatekeep it in the right ways, then I can agree. But if you're just being an asshole and gatekeeping that shit for yourself, then no. That's really it. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.